Rob Morrow here. Most of you probably know me from my acting work, Northern Exposure and Numbers, and more recently Designated Survivor and Billions, in the movies, Quiz Show, Last Dance, Mother, directed many hours of television, Oz, Joan of Arcadia, The Fosters. You probably don't know that music is a central passion of my life. I started playing the drums when I was about 5, and it's really at the essence of everything I do. I studied guitar for a number of years, and then I would take a guitar with me on location wherever I was, and it allowed me to get pretty good over the years. And about 10 years ago, I was on a show called The Whole Truth, and we shot on the Warner Brothers lot, and it was on ABC. The publicity department came to me and they said that Conan O'Brien had just moved his new show that would be on TBS onto the Warner Brothers lot, and they were offering anyone on the lot who had a show a 5-minute slot. You could do whatever you want. So they said, you got to go do something. I was like, okay, what do I want to do? They said, well, why don't you write a song? Because they always saw me with a guitar. So I said, okay. And then they said, oh, and we needed 2 hours. All right. So I went in my trailer and I took a basic blues progression and I wrote lyrics that were, apropos to the show. And it worked.
Tell the whole truth and nothing but. I
started writing a lot of music, and it just started pouring out of me. And I thought, well, I gotta test myself. And I thought, I'm gonna go out to these clubs in LA. I'm gonna suck. I knew I was gonna suck, and I knew people were gonna recognize me. But I also knew I had to go through this process to learn. So for a couple of years, I would go into these clubs. I would try to get the earliest slot, so nobody was there, and I would play my songs.
It's like this. When you're between a rock and a head case, you know you're not really sure.
And then I started studying songwriting, and eventually the songs started to show a little hope, potential. And then I hooked up with Carlos Calvo, who's my great friend and my collaborator, and we started writing music, and it became it went to another level.
Then it's gone like a storm in the distant sky.
So we started taking that out on the road. Then we put together a band, the Rob Morrow Band featuring Carlos Calvo, and we started playing around and people started digging the music.
I know the wants and needs won't give me what I see. I know that pleasures last just as long as they can be.
We call it soulful rock and funky pop. It's accessible, it's melodic, it's driving, it's sexy. It puts me in touch with something bigger than myself, and I have to do it, and I'm doing it now. So we hooked up with the people at Pledge Music, and we're going to do this crowdsourcing campaign to make our first LP. We have a bunch of music. We're ready to go. We have Steve Postal, who's a great producer, who's produced recently with Jackson Browne and James Taylor. I hope you will come along and pledge your involvement to become a pledger. I got a list of things here that we're going to offer. Well, one thing is acting lessons via Skype, which is cool. I actually am a pretty good acting teacher. We're going to do listening parties in LA, or perhaps if you can put together a bundle, a group of people where you are will come play for you. We'll do a concert at your house for some friends. Behind the scenes, cool updates and videos of our rehearsals and me chatting with you. Oh, there's this book that I made years ago called Northern Exposures, which is great behind the scene photos from that television show, and I'll sign that to you. Once we reach our goal, I'm going to take 50% of that and I'm going to give it to Project ALS, which is a really great organization that is going to find a cure for ALS, which will also help people with all kinds of neurodegenerative diseases. I'm doing it. I want you to come along. I want you to be inspired. I want you to dig the music. I want you to get to know Sally. Sally's my friend.